Hey there, welcome to the Surface Lodge podcast, the Imperium's leading provider in electroshock therapy. Just in case you ever suspect a family member of being potentially a chaos cultist, we have you covered, so no worries on that. Be sure to take advantage of our Black Friday deal going on very soon. Code word to put in whenever you're at checkout is going to be penitent. Now, on to the schedule.
Oh, you didn't want to throw in the Raid sponsorship?
Raid sponsorship. The only thing I raid is heretics, baby.
2 for 1 lobotomy. Turn your hated ones into servitors.
Is that still? Is that still redeemable?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh shit, let's go. Okay.
Hey, is there going to be a Cyber Monday deal on that?
Probably, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Right.
So welcome everybody to the show. So we have the
Yes,
Surface Lodge
welcome.
podcast.
What's going
Finally
on?
started this journey.
This is, I guess we go around the table and introduce ourselves.
Thanks for starting.
This is episode 1, so
This
This
yes.
is episode 1.
Yes. I believe this was titled "No Clickbait, Just Three Dudes." I'm gonna add on something. Popping the cherry. Let's go on. Yeah.
Popping the cherry, yes.
Yeah. No clickbait. However, there is some clickbait.
No clickbait, just Hyman.
Yeah.
Just beautiful voices.
Yes. All day, all the time. Anyways,
Yes.
so would you like to? kick off the introduction,
Sure.
sir?
So hey there, my name is Step Bro. I had a very unfortunate encounter with an ogre, but that's aside from the point. So, all you things you need to know about me right now, I believe we'll get into further detail later in the podcast, right?
Probably.
So, I play Imperial Fist. I live, breathe, and abide by Dorn. Brogel Dorn and the Imperial Fist. Oh,
God.
That's
It's
bread and
Brogel
butter.
Dorn.
Brogel Dorn, the life, bread, and butter of the Imperium. God bless. Emperor bless, sorry. Don't shoot me. And that's
Emperor
pretty
bless.
much it. I've been in the hobby for about, I don't know, since 8th edition dropped. I've been in Warhammer longer than that by about a year, but only into 40k since 8th. So yeah.
So, I am Grandmaster Groot, and my main factions are orcs and space wolves. Dare to be a little bit different. Stepbro was actually the one who got me into this hobby. I've been playing probably
Dirty bastard.
just a little under a year now, and I love the hobby. Love everything about it. So it's on to you, buddy.
No, it's on to me. All right. How's it going, everybody? This is your boy Corn Berserker. If you can't tell by the name, I fucking love this goddamn hobby. I love the goddamn World Eaters. Everything about them just screams kill, maim, burn in my soul. All right. I've been playing. Hell, I've been in and out of this hobby since about end of 6th, beginning of 7th edition. So we're talking 2013. Yeah, I've played so many fucking armies. My main armies right now are Custodes. I'm just starting up the World Eaters. I'm getting all pissed. Fucking paint.
Yeah, we're
Painting those goddamn jackals.
As we're looking over at the paint tray of just a pile of jackals looking like they're stacked like skulls on a throne.
Yeah. Batch painting goes a long way when you're doing that shit. Speed paints help too. And then I also play Grey Knights. Grey Knights their lore has always been one of my top tier fucking things. I played Grey Knights during 7th edition when Teleport Shunt was one of the most broken fucking things ever to grace the tabletop.
Bastulus. I don't know who said that. I don't
anymore.
know. Fair enough.
But
It could
they
be
were
worse.
also fucking their attacks. I mean, they literally could fucking kill anything. He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna shoot this unit with Cybolt ammo, and well, if you gotta save, you might not have one now." So,
Oh, the Emperor
yeah.
still don't really grabs lubes.
I love.
Stairs in 9th edition confusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I love this fucking hobby, man. I've been doing this for freaking long time on and off, and yeah, I'm more of a competitive player type person. I just recently got into the freaking lore because of Step Up.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm an enabler, what I do. So
Case in point.
Speaking of the lore, let's discuss some of our lore. The intricate lore. So by the way, just going over the discussion topics, this episode we want to be talking about why it's the best time to get into 40k. If you're listening to this, either you're really bored and a veteran, or perhaps you're entirely new. and you just want to find out, how do I dive in? You've seen the clips, you've seen the action, you've seen the people eternally bitching online. You want to know what it's about. So why don't we go around and we'll introduce ourselves in like some more detail, a few more fun facts, and then we'll go on to, I believe, some more stuff about why now's the time to get into 40K.
Okay, you want to start?
God damn, put me on the spotlight. Okay.
Well, I mean, you started the last
I
rotation.
know.
Yeah, no
I
shit.
should have seen it coming. I didn't. Okay, so as we've said 20 times by now, my name is Stepbro. So again, I got into Warhammer around like exactly beginning day of 8th edition, like to that day. I was actually in the hobby before that, and I got a fun little story about how I got into the hobby. So, are you guys familiar with the game called Total War Warhammer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic game. Love it to death. Hundreds of hours, if not thousands. The first game was out, and they offered like a little free DLC thing, and all they said was if you stop into a Warhammer store. And I was like, there's fucking stores for this? What the fuck? And I was like, so I look it up, and I was like, oh, there's a store within driving distance. Let's go. So one day I was off work. I went ahead, drove over there, and I walked in. I had no idea what the fuck I was getting into. But if you don't know, the video game covers the old world, or Warhammer Fantasy. Mm-hmm. So you had like the Empire, Bretonnia, Tomb Kings. This was old school Warhammer Fantasy that no longer exists.
For those of you out there, this is a pre-Age of Sigmar.
Yes.
So
Exactly, yes. This is what came before Age of Sigmar.
Bro, I barely broke the surface into fucking Age of Sigmar.
Oh, don't worry. We'll be getting into that. Don't worry on that.
yeah.
But I got in, and the only thing I knew about Warhammer was Warhammer Fantasy. I looked up Warhammer lore, and the first thing that popped up was Warhammer 40K, and I was so fucking confused because I went from dwarves with crossbow bolts to fucking bolt guns. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? But I walk in, and this store was separated like most GW stores. You have the fancy stuff on like the left, you have the 40K stuff on the right. And of course, my friendly local crack addict, Warhammer manager, came on over and was like, hey buddy, what you in here for? I'm like, video game thing, code, gimme. And he's just like, oh, it's okay, little buddy, come here.
Is this before or after he touched you?
It comes a little bit later in the story. But
okay.
yeah.
I jumped the gun.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Show me on the Chaos Space Marine where he touched you.
my heart. But he went around, and I was deadly confused, and he did not pick up on any of this, the fact that I was talking about Warhammer Fantasy. So he was just talking as if I knew everything about Warhammer, and I was lost as could be. And then I finally say, hey, what happened to, like, the dwarves? Because that was my big fantasy faction, was I love dwarves. That's cool as fuck. I like the shield wall. I like with the crossbows and artillery.
You like digging holes.
I like digging holes and mining for stuff, fucking knife ears. And then he just looks me dead in the face, and with as much enthusiasm as he can muster, he's like, that got blown up. And I look at him like, what the fuck you mean that got blown up?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that no longer exists. So I'm like, you're telling me I played this video game, I was super hyped for this. You're telling me you hyped me up to new levels of saying there's an actual tabletop of this where I can paint my own guys, and then you tell me that my world is destroyed.
Yeah,
And then,
GW hit
but
a
then he's
hard
like,
reset.
but we got this cool thing, and we got this cool thing, and I was like, fuck it, let's grab something. I got my thing, left, and I came back later, and I bought the very first starter set for Age of Sigmar, which I still have the box for, and it was Stormcast Eternals versus like Khorne, Blood, something. It's super cool. Everything else, been in the hobby ever since, and ran Slaves of Darkness once I started knowing stuff. Got in 40K. Played Imperial Fist. I have not stopped playing Imperial Fist. It's only gotten so much worse. And at that point, that's pretty much all she wrote. I think that's all I'll say for now.
Okay, so I guess it's on to my turn. So like I said, I'm Groot, and I'm your fellow orc enthusiast. Started out this hobby, like I said, Stepbro started me out, and I'd been talking. He had mentioned 40K, here and there and everything, and finally I mentioned, that he had mentioned it, and I'd been wanting to get into it. Yeah, I see you tapping on your veins. Yeah, that's exactly what you become, a heroin dealer.
First
Pretty
one's
much.
free.
Yeah.
But so I told Stepbro, I was like, man, I really want to get into this. I was like, but it's super expensive, and because it's expensive for me. I'm on the poor class, but
You're a working man. Yes.
Working
Yeah,
man.
working man.
We'll call it that. That's just government for poor. So yeah. So Step Bro was like, "Oh, don't worry, buddy." He was like, "I have a 3D printer. I've got you." I was like, "Wait a minute, 3D printer? You can 3D print Warhammer?" He's like, "Oh, I can 3D print anything."
More on that later.
Yes.
So I will say I'm a little bit of a pirate as far as GW is concerned. Most of my armies are 3D printed, just because I think they look. In a lot of cases, the models look better. It's a lot cheaper. It's easier to get into. But so I think I've really only got like one box, and that was the box that you gave me, which was the Age of Darkness box.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple of other little small boxes that I've collected and put together, but most of my stuff is 3D printed and lovely. And but me and Step Bro started playing like single games, and then all of a sudden we started getting in a couple of friends that were already in Warhammer, and next thing I know, the rest is history. And now I'm a crack addict.
Now you're on a podcast about Warhammer.
now I'm doing a Warhammer podcast, so as you can imagine, it's going great. Have to find something to fuel these 7 credit cards.
Oh shit.
So yeah, it's on to you, bud.
All right. Yes. It's the one and only Corn Berserker here.
Hi, Corn Berserker.
You can call me Corn for short.
Hi, Corn.
Yeah. But it's Corn. It's Corn CORN because corn for the corn god.
Corn for the cornflakes.
Yes.
Popcorn for Popcorn Throne.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, my introduction to this hobby came as a complete fucking accident. Really, it was just happenstance. I used to, and I still kind of do every now and then, play Magic the Gathering. I had a buddy of mine get me into that when I was in the army.
Bro, this is a 40K podcast.
Yeah, well, this gets into this, okay? Screw you. Magic is still fun to play. Either way, where I was stationed in the army, there was a game store off post, and I would go there, get my Magic fix and stuff too. It's like, yeah, this and that. Well, he also sold, 40K and fantasy stuff at the time. And I would always look at the models. I'm like, man, those models look kind of cool, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then one day I was just perusing through. I was like, you know what? I'm going to look at these models. I'm going to see what they got. They got some really cool looking stuff. I'm walking through, I'm seeing this and that. And I see the Dark Vengeance box, which had the Death Guard versus the Dark Angels. And I was like, man, that's pretty cool. And I was looking at Chaos Rhinos, and I was looking at this. I was like, man, these guys are looking awesome. So, and there was a dude at the freaking register who had like a pile, and I mean a pile of boxes. All of them said Warhammer 40K, right? And I'm like, oh crap. Well, the guy behind the counter rang him up. He was like, that would be like $837.42. I'm like, fuck Christ. I'm like, what did he buy? And when I look closer, he had probably about 2 big boxes, 1 medium-sized box, and then like a couple of smaller ones. And I'm like, what the hell is he buying and stuff? So I look over and I started looking at it. I was like, oh, that's cool. I think he had some Blood Angel stuff. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's awesome. And then
did he have a neck beard and a fedora too?
No, actually, all I
He said he was buying Warhammer, not Magic.
This is true.
He said he was a Dark Angels player though.
Oh, was it Blood Angels?
No.
Oh, Blood Angels,
Yeah,
Blood Angels.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Blood Angels. And I was like, oh crap, this thing's expensive as hell. I'm like, I can't afford this on the $900 a month I'm making as a freaking nothing basically. But every time I went back to the store, I always looked at those freaking models.
Where that military line of credit comes in.
They didn't take Star Card. Unfortunately, they would not take Star Card. So right before I was getting out of the army, I went back to the store again, and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna do it. And I picked up that Dark Vengeance box. I think it was Dark Vengeance at the time. And I picked it up. I was like, screw it, I'm gonna go for it. I love the models. I'm gonna put it together, right? And I started putting together I cracked open the box. I saw the dice that were in it, and I was like, oh crap, This is a whole game.
Wait,
I thought it was just models.
They came with dice?
Yeah,
Were they like good dice or generic dice?
the generic
Oh,
white,
okay,
black,
okay.
little
You got
dip ones and
my
stuff.
mind went to like really cool beginning. Oh man, that would
No.
It
It was the same dice that you get in the Age of Darkness Horus Heresy
the
box.
shitty white ones.
Yeah, the shitty white ones with the scatter dice and stuff and templates.
Just
and all
no
that stuff.
scatter dice because 40k.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it did have scatter dice.
Because it was
This is
before
the old
8th edition. It has scatter dice. And
I'm new. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Essentially, what you got in the Age of Darkness box set was what you got in there. You got the templates, you got the 2 little measuring sticks, and you got your scatter dice and stuff like that.
There are
And I
some
was like-
days I hate it when you guys talk about like older editions, but there's sometimes I love it because I feel like
You went back in my day.
I feel like
back
the
in my
kids sitting
day.
on grandpa's lap while they're telling war stories. of-
Oh
yeah.
yes. Let me wait till you get to the war stories about how you used to be able to combine 2 different armies together, like Tau and Eldar. Or
Jesus Christ.
yeah. It was the Wild West during that time. That's basically what it was. But yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, there's an actual game. There's a rule book. What the hell? I thought these were just like models, like you would see at like a hobby store and shit. So I was like, oh, okay. Started learning, and I started watching YouTube videos and people playing and painting videos, and I'm sitting here and I'm putting these things together, and this was all press fit shit. So I was like, oh, cool. This is awesome. Blah, blah, blah. And that's what started my addiction, because I now had Dark Angels, and now I had Death Guard.
Cringe.
Yeah.
This is not a Dark Angels friendly podcast. No offense to some people, but
Look, there's a certain type of person that plays Dark Angel, and they. If you play Dark Angels, I'm sorry for you, but there's sometimes you just have your own group of people that you fit in with.
Play Dark Angels, break the stigma, do what I did.
But yeah, and that's what started the fucking whole thing. And then all of a sudden, now I have a collection of freaking Chaos Space Marines with a damn Helldrake. Yeah. Then I was like, oh, I want to play freaking what was the other one I picked up? Dark Eldar. I was like, oh, I'll play Dark Eldar. These guys are cool. Oh, look, Blood Angels. I want to play those guys. But I had like 5 armies at one point. Like, not even enough to make 2,000 points, but I had 5 damn armies because I was like, these guys are cool as shit. This and that. I didn't know anything about the lore. I didn't know any of that crap. Right?
Fucking, I have models. These are cool as shit.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'd play at stores against people and this and that. And then, freaking, I played at a couple of like store tournaments here and there and stuff. And then, GW started, I think this was like halfway through 7th edition, and they fucking, Taudar was the thing. You would take you would have 2,000 points. You'd have like maybe 1,200, 1,300 points of like Eldar, and then you would, because they sold them in detachments, you would throw in a detachment of 3 Riptides, right, from Tau.
ew.
And it was Eldar skimmer spam, so all the fucking vehicles, because all the vehicles had this rule called Jink, which acted as like another save on top of your armor save and your cover save. It would give you like a 4-up save. All right. Freaking.
All the new people listening, this doesn't apply to this.
No,
This is not this edition.
No, this has gotten a lot more tamed and a lot more.
Not Wild West.
Do
Yeah.
not be dissuaded by our stories. Yes.
So yeah, you'd have dudes with freaking a million freaking little skimmer tanks from Eldar, and then you had 3 Riptides, and it was just like, okay, this is gonna be an auto win. So, I jumped out because I was like, this is getting ridiculous. I'm just not doing this. And I started playing another tabletop game, and then every once in a while, I kind of come back to 40K, and I'm like, still same shit. All right, fuck it. And then I jumped into Warhammer Fantasy, and I played Vampire Counts. Vampire Counts, which is now called the Soulblight Gravelords.
Yep.
We're the shit, okay? You were just fucking, you're like, oh, I lost freaking 30 guys. All right, well, I still got 60 more. And you're just running zombies up their asses. So I played those guys. That was fun. And then it was just like that, just on and off over the years and stuff. And then 2019, when I moved to the current residence I'm in now, I got out of it because I was like, I have no one to play. It's just me, whatever. It's just that.
Like a bad addiction, it crawls back.
That always stayed with me, though. It always stayed with me. Flash forward a couple years, I'm hanging out with these 2 and a couple other friends. All of a sudden, I hear Groot talking to Step Bro about 40K Lord. Or just 40K in general. And I'm like, the hell y'all know about 40K? And it's like, wait, you play too? I was like, yeah. No
Yeah.
fucking shit.
Yeah, that was bro. That was when I was still fresh.
Yeah.
Still had fresh off the printer orcs. And
Yeah.
That was a fun time. Playing on the little counter that was
playing on the corner of my kitchen counter that's probably about as big as half of this table, and we're trying to fit 2,000. I'm trying to fit 2,000 points of orcs on it.
Oh God. But yeah, and then well, here we are now. Like I actually started getting into the lore. They're like, look, you got to read Horus Heresy and just go through it. And I did, and I am on. Fulgrim was what, book 5?
It's pretty close, 5 or 6. Yeah,
it's like 5 or 6.
5 or
yeah,
6.
I'm whatever book is after Fulgrim right now, and that was just after a couple months. I think I just started reading the damn thing like maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, and I'm already at the 6th book, which is kind of a feat because they're about like 9 to 10 hours long each, and I'm just fucking plowing through it and stuff. But that's my story of how I got into the hobby. I love to paint. I love to freaking put the models together, but I love playing the damn game more than anything.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about your relapse, but welcome back.
Oh, I'm sure the wife is not happy about that.
I have a feeling I've managed to. I'm not sure. Mainly, I'm not sure about your wife. I know I'm probably pissed off your wife at East with. Like I keep on sending you back.
Oh, bro, the amount of
stuff,
the amount of models that I come back with, like every weekend. By this point, she's just accepted it. She's just like, oh, what do you have now? Oh, that's cool.
That's why you got to corrupt everybody else, and it's only it's fun for the entire family, right? Yeah.
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
not the lore, but
I've
the
tried.
tabletop, yeah.
I've tried so hard. I'm trying to get her into. Adeptus Sororitas.
There we
So
go.
that she can play Battle Sisters.
The nuns with guns.
Sororitas.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
So I think our next topic, going to the meat and bones of this, is now we're talking about why is the best time to get into 40K. This is why, as a listener that you're listening right now, should you actually delve into this because it's intimidating, right?
Yes, I will say as a newer person, it was very intimidating at first. I'd always wanted to get into Warhammer as like a kid and everything. I had friends that played it that, of course, had money and everything.
Yeah.
And then like it evolved into people were talking about Warhammer, but I had no idea how to get into Warhammer. So I feel like that was part of the reason we wanted to start this was to give people a kind of a guide to get into 40K.
Yeah.
Just like a little starter. Here's how you do it.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of the biggest hurdles of getting into 40K, because you can get into the lore all day. That shit's free for the most part. The fucking price point. Goddamn GW and their fucking prices. That is the biggest issue. Because you're like, man, I want to play this army right here. You grab the freaking collecting box. You're like, $160 or $130, depending on if you go to your local game store, which I highly advise. You're like $130 and you get like 10 models. I'm like, oh fuck, do I really want to do this?
But see, that's the beauty of it because I've seen it go all the way as far to I've seen guys that are soldiers that are deployed in fucking in Afghanistan and Iraq and stuff, and they're playing 40K on literally they're playing 40K on their cots with rocks and cans and rocks as their armies and stuff, and then they've got cans and canteens and different shit as as terrain and everything. So as far as I think it's not necessarily the price point. I think it's also just really how bad you want to get into it, how creative you can get with it,
and also wanting to enjoy the hobby because like anybody you can hypothetically play this game with essentially nothing, right? Like it could be with like canteens, rocks, everything else. And that certainly can be done. But there is a certain pride and everything else that you can't beat the feeling of seeing models actually being painted up. And then you've seen your army arrayed in front of you and the enemy army coming up across the field.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Now, I will say, I'm not sure, you all mentioned briefly, but like overseas and stuff. And of course, I'm the civilian of the group. So this is outside of my expertise, but I do remember sticking, like when I first got in the hobby, there was like one photo that circulated around, and it was exactly like what you described of playing like with proxies, and it was like two soldiers.
I know exactly. Yeah, I know the exact photo you're talking about where they have rocks just lined up.
Yeah, one dude's like playing Eldar, and he had a bunch of like white rocks, and then the other dude.
No, that's just an average Eldar player. No, you go to tournaments, you see that.
Eldar bullshit.
But again, go back to the podcast. One of the main reasons is because you almost need a guide getting into this hobby, right? You need somebody who knows the ropes, or at least partially knows the ropes, or maybe a partner to delve in together.
100%.
Yeah, and if you find somebody who's a bad guide, because like like any community, there's gonna be like people out there who, quite frankly, maybe shouldn't be in the community, or maybe just shitbags overall.
And that's why we here.
Make gate creeping.
Yeah.
Gate creeping. Gate creeping. You know what? Gate creeping, gatekeeping, gate peeping. Make it great again.
Maybe not do gate peeping.
Smack him with a hammer.
Hey, I said gate peeping, not like
Smack him
window
with your
peeping.
smack him with your war mallet.
Yeah. There
Go
are
from
there are definitely some people that should not be in the hobby. And
Yeah. So while we advise always going around, like it's always better to have somebody in person. But if you are a friend or you're by yourself and you can't find somebody and you have nobody else to guide you into it, hopefully we can also be the guide to sort of. We'll take your hand in ours and we'll skip through the field as we lead you to a plastic crack, and then we'll like all smoke it together in a bowl. And
We'll
have
skip
some
through
fun.
the gardens of Nurgle together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, specifically about the edition, let's talk about that. So, it's basically a brand new edition. It's been around for a few months at this point. Because
What was it? June?
Yeah, I think June
Yeah.
24th is when it finally.
Yeah, so
actually dropped.
close to 6 months now, probably
Yeah.
not 5 months, but it still feels new.
because at that point we're not even a year into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean we only have what is it? 4. It'll be 4 factions that will have codexes. 2 that are out currently. The Space Marines and the Tyranids, and then here soon the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Necrons are dropping new codexes on top of besides Adeptus Mechanicus and their stupid stilt leg model.
Yeah.
Isn't that a character?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so. Right?
So
I think so. It might be.
So
Or
the new
either that, or it's
character-
either that, or if it's an infantry unit.
So
I don't
they're-
think it's a leader.
So their new character unit, whatever the hell it is basically the clown dude
It's
on
a-
stilts with a butt plug.
Yeah, it's a sniper. It's a sniper on stilts with an exhaust butt plug. Is literally what it is.
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, the new Necron models
Those are nice.
look
Some of them look pretty.
very nice. I will say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
However, when do their codexes drop? It's got-
Soon.
I know pre-orders just dropped, so probably here in the next.
Technically,
Yep.
usually, unless it's like a big release, usually it's 1 week.
Okay,
Yeah,
so yeah,
'cause I was gonna say, a
I'd
lot
say
of
probably.
YouTubers have already like revealed a lot of the shit from it. That's why I was
Well,
wondering
they
about it
of
already.
course they had leaks and.
Yeah, they're
GW's always got leaks.
Yeah, there's
I'm starting to think-
forever leaks.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they leak their own shit.
yeah. I'm starting to think that their leaks are in house, like planned, like with the 10th edition. The pictures that came out looked like some dude was sitting in his car with the actual rule book. It's like, oh, he just went on break and was told
No.
to.
Serpent's
I
Lodge
will
covering the conspiracies nobody cares about.
It's what Big Warhammer doesn't want you to know. but speaking of that, I mean, actually, I don't think it's potentially true, because what happened is whenever 10th edition was leaking, they went through and all the playtesters they had on hand, they got rid of, they cleaned house. After 10th edition leaked and all the rules came out early for 10th edition, they cleaned house. All those playtesters basically got batted to the side because they could not find where that leak was coming from, but it was coming from somewhere.
Probably coming from the playtest.
Yeah, so it was probably that.
Man.
So a part of it could be planned leaks, but part of it could not be. But going,
Playtesters are the real heroes of the community.
they are.
Yeah.
Thank your local playtester.
I'm on my lunch break. Let me leak this book real quick.
So that being said, it's very easy to get into, because in that case, you, although you're like a little bit behind the curve, especially considering like you could be listening to this whenever like 11th, 12th, 13th editions coming out. Who knows? With that being said, new editions are preferably the time to start, because everybody's catching up with the rules, everybody's learning, and usually the best time to basically jump on in.
Yeah,
And this
100%.
edition is vastly, like wildly and vastly different
Yes.
from 9th edition, which we caught the tail end
Yeah,
of. when we were
yeah,
playing.
and I was a fresh player learning
Yeah.
9th edition, and as soon as I had 9th edition down, they were like, "Oh, by the way, forget that 10th edition's here."
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
fun.
Like they eliminated an entire phase from the game. So the psychic phase used to be its own thing. Gone. Not a thing anymore. Now you're just shooting mind gun. What else? They got rid of the individual.
Morale phase.
Morale
is
phase,
gone.
Yes,
Yeah.
morale is gone.
Yeah.
Morale got replaced with Battle Shock,
Used to
which
be-
is a very interesting.
Well, it's
mechanic.
funny because and to caveat on what Stepbro was saying about jumping in now.
That's
Okay,
a very military
this-
term. To caveat.
yeah, well, it's
Well, it's
deeply
accurate.
ingrained.
It's accurate. Yeah.
But 10th edition came out June 24th of this year. Okay, it is now currently December 1st, maybe November
Let's say,
November 30th, something like that. I don't even know what day it is.
Wow.
Okay, I just know it's a day I'm not working.
It is.
So,
It is November 26th.
okay, whatever. November 26th. All right. So it's been exactly fucking 5 months since then, and at the beginning of 10th edition, it was essentially the Wild West. It was just like it
yes.
wasn't like the older editions. 'Cause nobody knew what the hell anything did. All of a sudden, you're no longer going for points per model, where it's like, oh, 5 guys. Let's say each guy costs you 10 points, so the whole thing was like freaking 50 points, right? Now it's okay. 5 guys cost you exactly this much. If you want 10 guys, because you can only take it in groups of 5 or 10 or whatever and shit. If you want 10, now it's going to cost you 100 points. Whereas before, it was like, I want 7 dudes in the unit, that's 70 points. Like, the granularity of the points is gone. So if you can only fit, 1,985 points, and you have nothing that gives you that 15, you're
Take
just
an
playing.
enhancement.
Yeah. But even if you can't. Like, Custodians don't have an enhancement that costs 15. Their minimum is 20.
Sounds like a skill issue.
So, sounds like a GW issue, but
I'm an
that's-
orc player. I don't have to worry
But-
about that.
Yeah. But yeah, it was wildly different in the beginning. Like, things were broken, like beyond repair when it came to certain these armies. Like Eldar was at like a 75% win rate.
We used to be able to put Gazgul in a truck.
That was a good truck right there. Yeah.
We used to just
Yeah.
conga line fucking Gazgul through trucks and
Yeah.
get him to an objective.
Gene Stealer Colts used to be able to conga line across the board. So it's like, oh, look, this unit comes in here, and now you got a unit of 20 dudes stretched out 2 inches apart from each other across the damn board, so you couldn't deep strike anything. Like, it was insane. It was not. Now it's gotten a little bit more roped in. Things have been balanced and tweaked for the most part. This is GW we're talking about, so balance is a very subjective term.
Tell that to Step Bro's deployment zone.
You're an orc, that doesn't count. But
So yeah, this is the perfect time now because things did get simpler, and it's a lot more tamed. People know what the armies do. They've gotten a little bit more. GW has gotten a little bit more clarification with some rules, which before it was just like, rules is written versus rules is
it
intended.
may be stupid clarification, but it was clarification. Yes.
Some of the vagaries became a little less vague. They're still vague, but you can kind of just work that with your opponent.
Yeah.
But
There's a lot of basically ups and downs in the hobby, the community as general, and I would say that's like one of the greatest parts about this thing because there's always something to talk about, right? Like whether it's like the newest models and painting that, or whether it's like the rules, rule clarifications, recent drama, more drama, somebody's bitching, somebody else is bitching, you get the entire point. But the game evolves and is basically a living game, right?
And we haven't even tiptoed into the lore because
not even close.
me and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
like for the past year I've been playing, like what was it, every day I was messaging you talking about,
Yes.
oh god, I found this out, can you tell me about this step, bro?
And that's like the beautiful thing that honestly, like I love more than anything is when you drag somebody in and they immediately delve into it and they start asking the questions. You're like, yes, it's like this and it's so cool and oh my goodness, it's amazing. Oh my god, it's like that. You saw someone absolutely epic and you just like run around and be like, hey, you won't believe what I just saw. Oh my goodness.
I bet it was even harder for you, man, because he's coming up with all this stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, but wait, shit, I don't want to spoil this for you.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but see, that's the shitty part is because he doesn't want to spoil it for me, but I'm the type of person that I don't care about spoilers because I'm gonna experience it in the book or in the lore like anyway.
Yeah.
But he can't. Step Bro cannot wrap his mind around the fact that I don't care about spoilers.
Oh yeah, no. For me personally, since I love the lore to absolute like insane degrees. Absolutely love it. Even the stupid parts. Actually, I really like some of the stupid parts. But that is like sacrosanct for me. Is if I was over somewhere and somebody spoiled something for me, that's fight on side territory. because that's something that I wanted to, like, for the most part, experience for myself and see how it goes through, so I can have that oh shit revelation moment as compared to something else. And obviously that differs person to person, but that's, you find your own niche. Because, like, again, I'm really big into the I would say, like, the painting side, and we're all into all areas of the hobby, but I would say, like, my focus that I particularly enjoy is going to be, like, painting, right? And doing that, finding new ways to do new colors, different highlights, different stuff like that. Corn, I mean, you're gameplay, right? You already said you love the game.
Yeah, I'm a big fucking gamer when it comes to that.
And for the most part, you're like all the above, right?
Yeah,
You're
I'm kind of all the above. I do like I like a little bit of the aspect of everything, but to me, I've almost delved more into the lore of anything, like
Yeah.
just researching different armies and why they're doing what they're doing and why they're here and what happened to them. It's just one of those things that I've always loved, and so I don't know. I kind of feel like lore has started becoming kind of
The big thing.
yeah,
That's fair.
my big focus. I'm been plowing through the Horus
And
Heresy
you
like
never
no
know
other.
all of it.
Yeah, and and I mean I've been plowing through for a year now, and there's still so much that I still message Step Bro on days where I'm like, bro, I never knew about this, and he's like, oh yeah, let me tell you about this, and I'll have like a 6-minute long voice message explaining the entire thing.
And that was me shortening it.
And
That was just shorthand.
And that's not even including like the video messages that I get where he pulls out the whiteboard of doom
Yeah,
and,
pretty much.
and just starts drawing me diagrams of things.
I've experienced that. Like I've been a witness to that. Because was it Alvin? He was asking like, well, how do you play Dark Heresy? And he's just
Yeah,
like,
that-
hold up. Like 7 messages later, he looks like John Madden with his freaking board. He's like, all right, you got this right here. All right. And
It's
he's
all
just-
connected, don't you see? It's all connected.
He's got his own like web of freaking like
Conspiracies with
Yeah.
the red string.
Oh,
It's all connected.
You want to talk about conspiracies? I actually have not talked to you guys about some of the crazy and these are not like popular conspiracies solved from like other 40K channels, stuff like that. There's some deep, like, you know, the iceberg, like iceberg list, where it's like the further down you get, the more obscure and more stuff it is. There's some deep stuff that has not been discussed, and I cannot wait to tell you guys what those are. Yes, there's some deep conspiracies that run like either, like, more than likely, a lot of these conspiracies are full meta, okay, and GW just wrote like an open plot line, and they're just going to leave it open to speculation, let the audience do the rest, sort of fill in the gaps, or
I've noticed they do that a lot.
they do, yeah. I mean, truth be told, I mean, if you want to take a lot of the magic out of it, you can honestly pull yourself back, but why do that when you can just like lose yourself in a fervor and just have fun with it?
Oh, that's a hell of a rabbit hole too.
Oh, it is hell.
Not to mention, you also have like 40 different writers writing these books and the lore and stuff like that. So it's like each of them can bring their own rabbit hole, and it's just like, oh shit.
Fuck you, Dan Abnett.
He just came out with a new book. You seen that?
Oh, which one was it? The Horse Heresy?
I don't know if it was a Horus
Are you talking about
Heresy.
on Audible? It's the new 12th Gaunt Ghost.
Oh, he's still making that, isn't he? Yeah.
Is that one? I think
I think
was.
so.
Yeah, I got a notification from Audible. It's like, hey, you might like this. It's by Dan Abnett. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you're
what
a
is it?
slut
Like,
for Games Workshop. Get over here, bad boy.
Yeah. It was.
If I can ever get through the Horus Heresy, I'll eventually go to other books.
I'll see you in 6 years.
Yeah, you're
I'm
on what?
halfway through.
You're on what book? Freaking
20, I think it's 24.
out of what? 68,
No,
It's like 63.
69,
That's
70.
all
Well, not including Siege
Well,
of Terror, it's like 63. Yeah.
304.
It's only like 50 something if you don't include like the short stories.
Yeah. And that's
like
honestly,
Tales of Heresy and all that
Yeah.
shit.
and even then, that's actually, like, you know, we've used Siege of Terra, which for those of you who are unaware, let's like very briefly caveat this. In Warhammer, right? And we're mainly dealing with Warhammer, you know, fantasy, well, not fantasy, fucking hell. Warhammer 40, don't say, no. Warhammer 40K, that's the main setting. There's also Warhammer 30K, which is the entire prelude of what happened.
10,000 years before.
10,000 years
40K.
before.
Why the 41st millenniums and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is
Fuck
renowned.
Erebus, by the way.
Oh yeah, fuck Erebus. But that is renowned as like one of, if not like the longest running sci-fi or like sci-fi series in general. Okay, and that's the prelude. That's what happened before 40K, and now that's got its own game system, everything else, whole bunch of enjoyers, very fun. But that's what happened before the 40K books. Unironically, hundreds. unironically, and that's not including short stories, novellas, everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Now going back to getting in, so
Yeah,
we know
this is what happens when you get into lore. We start like going on a tangent. And
Yes.
shit, so
Now,
bring it back.
Going back to this, so we've been over basically a new edition, great time to start. But let's also talk about like delve into the practicalities. So codexes, okay? Right now is a great time to get in for also the simple reason of all the armies except for those who have had codexes drop, which right now is like Tyranids, Space Marines. I'm going to include Adeptus Mechanicus and Necrons. Your army rules are free. You don't have to pay for shit.
Yeah.
Well, except for the models.
Well, except for the models,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we already did just play Eldar. Use the little white rocks. You're good.
Yeah. And you can download the rule book off the GW website.
Oh, yeah.
Which is already updated. So it's more updated and more recent than the actual hardcover book.
Or you can just find those leaked PDFs.
You could.
I've heard about those.
But yeah, right now it's to quote GW, it's simplified but not simple. And if you pick up, let's say you just pick up the Leviathan box, which apparently there's a sale for
Well, there's a sale going on at our local game shop.
yeah, for like $100 you can pick up the Leviathan box, which when it came out was like $250.
Well, you know, actually, GW has a policy that if you walk into like any store and you use the discount code "I have a fucking gun," they actually give you everything for free.
Oh, that's like the secret
Yeah.
menu at McDonald's.
It is, yeah, dude.
Gotcha,
Yeah, it's the same effect. Workers still hate you.
Yeah, it's like robbing a movie theater. It's like, oh man, I just conned this movie theater out of $700. It's like I got 2 packs of freaking Skittles and a large popcorn.
Yeah, pretty much.
Man, I just got this GW store for like $300. I got 1 box.
Yeah, pretty much. Only 300?
Must have been the Votan box.
Well, unironically, I've had this conversation, not to go too far on this tangent, but I've had this idea before of like, hypothetically, middle of the night.
Walking into a Warhammer store and robbing it?
Yes, yeah, I have, yes. No, I've discussed this with the local manager, not the current one who's at this local one, but the one before him. I've literally sat down and talked to him because we're the only ones in the shop when I was there, and we talked about this for like hours while I was painting, and I was just like, so middle of the night, ram your car in through the door, okay? Because you're not subtle. You play Space Marines, and then you go around, and you have like 5 minutes to get everything you can. Like, how much can you get, and what's the dollar amount? And I believe the grand total for that store, if we included everything that he told me was at least hypothetically in the back, it easily could have been over 10K.
I don't doubt that one bit.
Yeah. Now, that being said, that was this local store, which does not have a lot of display pieces.
Yeah.
The store, if you go to the one in Nashville, that one has everything.
We here at the Serpent's Lodge do not condone robbing your
I
local
condone.
game
Do
shop.
it. Do it right fucking now. Stick it to the man. But no, seriously, do not commit any crimes, and especially do not blame us. We will not show up to your legal proceedings nor donate to a fund.
Yeah, to be 100% honest, don't go shopping at a Warhammer store. If you do, just window shop, look at what you want, and then go to your local friendly game store and pick it up there. Because guess what? You're going to get a hell of a discount.
If you're going to loot your local Warhammer store, make sure you live in California where you can get out with $999.
We just went over that. You can't do it. It's all...
I mean, in California you can because it's
in
legal
California,
under $1,000.
That's the key. Under $1,000.
Yes, under
That's the issue.
$1,000.
Yeah.
That's at least 2 boxes.
Yeah,
Okay, fair enough.
yeah.
But going on, so yeah, I would say that's the next step is finding locally where you can get plugged in. And like, let's say you're introverted, right? Because this is still a nerdy, geeky hobby. There's a higher percentage of
It is? Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
You guys are nerds?
Nerd! My pocket protector gave it away. But going around finding some place that you can like get hobby stuff and supplies, okay? And preferably this is some place with people who are able to hang out. So not just a shop, but also a hangout place, stuff like that. And don't worry, you don't have to go and like talk and make idle chit chatter. Most of the people in there are just like as awkward as you are. It's okay.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
And if you see a chick in there, please,
Don't be that guy.
leave her alone.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
Don't be that
okay.
Nobody likes creepy.
Odds are
Yeah.
she's not a chick anyways. Just don't do it.
Jesus.
Again, depending on your region
Okay,
of the country.
We're bleeping that part out. Anyways. But if you go around and find people, you will find people who are more than willing to first of all, take you by the hands, just vet them first, make sure they're good people, everything else, but also find cheaper ways of getting into it. Like hypothetically, if you go into a Warhammer shop, I know for a fact this is like Games Workshop, Warhammer, like company training. If you walk into a Warhammer shop and you say, "Hey, I'm new. I don't know what I'm doing," the first thing that manager should be doing is giving you the free model and giving you like a little paintbrush and like these shitty intro paints to say, "Try painting," because the first is always free. Now, granted, I've been to like 3 separate Warhammer shops, not including like out-of-state ones, but I've only had one do it, and that's the one here. The other 2 have told me to go fuck off. But
Really?
yes, so I can personally verify this is the better Warhammer shop.
I will say that was the one thing I never knew about Warhammer either, was that every month they do a free miniature that they literally just a little package. It's a little individual model, but I mean, and you know, half the time it's probably not even what you're probably using. But I mean, shit, experience plus free plastic crack.
You just got free painting practice. Come on.
Every month GW does do a free model that you can just go into the store and say, "Hey, I would like the free miniature of the month," and they'll here you go.
It is a limited supply, so make sure you get there like beginning of the month. Everything else, because like if you go there like even like a week into the month, they may be out. But get in there like the first, second, third, just whenever you got free time. Swing by on your way from work, or like if you're going to the area, stop by there, pick it up. Worst case scenario, they say no, and or they like, "Hey, sorry, we're out." In that case,
you're already at the Warhammer store. Might as well look at the models and see what. Look at the army, see what you like. There's so much, and
do not let that manager pressure you into buying anything you don't want to, because a lot of them have the predatory practices like GW does.
upsell.
It is a sale. Exactly. Yeah. It is a sales position. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That man is a used car dealer.
They will give you the free introductory game, whatever, and then they will try to push on you the most current box release set, whatever. So in this 10th edition, it's Leviathan. They will try their hardest to push you on it. Just tell them no. If they start getting pushy about it, just walk away. Go into, again, your friendly local game store. Those guys there, drinking, usually pretty cool. I mean, the ones around here are pretty damn cool for the most part.
Well, for the most part, they're not a salesman. They're just trying to. Well, I mean, it is a sales position, but it's mostly a retail position.
But they also care.
Sales position.
Yeah, but they care about you more than the guy.
Yeah, they want you to get what you want rather than just to make the money.
A customer that's already hooked is not as valuable as a new customer who could be a new supply
exactly
for that stuff.
Yeah.
Now that being said, okay, so there's that. I believe we will be having episodes coming out hopefully pretty soon regarding like armies, everything else, and there's plenty of videos out there talking about like what army to choose if you want to view that in the meantime. But I feel like we got some more unique takes on the army, and we're going to tell you a bit more than like Joe Schmo on YouTube and whatever else is going to tell you, right?
Yeah, we will definitely not be the drawn out, this is the Space Marines, and they perform like this.
So give you guys some examples. Stebro, how many armies do you own?
2, 3. Are we including fantasy and Age of Sigmar?
Let's go with 40K for right now.
Okay, that's fine. Let's see. Imperial Fists, Night Lords, Death Guard, Imperial Knights, Imperial Guard. I'm missing some. One second.
Chaos, I guess, undivided.
Oh, well, I said Night Lords, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, they are Night Lords.
At least 5. I guarantee I have at least like 1 or 2 more hiding somewhere.
Okay.
But yeah.
Groot?
I'm sitting at 3, technically 3.5. I have Orcs, I have Space Wolves, 30K and 40K Space Wolves that I kind of proxy back and forth. I have Imperial Guard that is what I'm currently working on a Death Corps of Krieg styled Imperial Guard army. Yeah. And then I have like, I don't know, I'm halfway into an army of Necrons that me and Stepbro were kind of printing off, and then I said, fuck that, I want Imperial Guard because Imperial Guard sounds fun, so I'm sitting at 4.
Yeah, about 4.5 armies,
yeah,
right?
like 3.5 armies.
Yeah, 3.5. Yeah. Me personally, I'm sitting at 4 armies currently. World Eaters are getting put up, but I have Imperial Knights, I have Custodes, and I have Grey Knights.
Oh, you fucking Knight players.
So, yeah. To give you... The reason I did that was because we're not some dudes who just picked up our first army and we're like, oh, this is why. Like, we have experience.
Yeah, we're not 3 dudes that just play Ultramarines.
We're 3 dudes
Yeah.
with a bleep sensor. You know we're telling the truth.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Look, fuck it. I use the
And
word
we're
fuck
not
like a comma,
and we're
okay?
not
Like,
afraid to use the bleep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nigger.
Well, there goes the bleep. But yes, so
First bleep, yay!
fuck yes. So yeah, we have experience with vast amount of fucking armies. We have years of experience between us combined, and the information that we give you is not speculation unless we say we're speculating. You know, where it's not. We'll tell you when we're giving you our thoughts. We're telling you when we're telling you the actual like fucking truth. Like we're not like this army is bad because, and then we'll name some shit off, and we'll be like,
Well, you know what? We're gonna put that to the test. I'm glad you said that because this actually, this is a pop quiz. Thank you for participating, Groot. Me and you, we know each other, right? We're getting into Warhammer.
We are
we're
getting
excited. Whoa, hey, we found you on the street. You look like a nerd. So hey, we're looking to me and my friend here. We're looking to get into Warhammer. Tell me where do we start? What do we do? Where do we go right now?
where do you go
Right now,
Where do
sir.
I go?
Right now. This is a matter of
Okay, so
urgency.
what do you know about Warhammer?
Absolutely jack shit.
Absolutely
jack shit.
Okay, if you want to know, are you interested in the backstory or the models?
Both.
Yeah, both.
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 Okay.
Both.
Yeah,
I
both.
need
Right
to know.
now.
I need
Yeah,
to
right
know.
now.
I need to know backstory
Yeah.
before I go
Yeah.
pick
You
out my
know
models.
backstory. Okay, if you want to know backstory, we can go
And the
either
front
to the
story.
beginning or we can start at where we are right now. If you want to learn about the beginning, I suggest you read some of the Horus Heresy. If you want to go right back to the
Whoa,
beginning, see
what's
how
the
this
Horus Heresy?
Yes, this is.
Whoa.
So, are you aware of Warhammer 40k?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard it. I've seen a few clips on YouTube.
Okay,
That's about
Horus
it.
Heresy is 10,000 years before that. So if you're more interested
That's
in 40K,
with those cool
What the
Ultramarine guys,
fuck?
right?
yeah, well they're in both sides. Yeah, they're like the poster boy for the whole.
Are the
thing.
Talon in this is Horus Heresy?
the Horus Heresy?
Heresy? Heresy?
No, they're not. They're in 40k. So if you do like Tau,
Can I play any like aliens in 30K or is it just humans?
currently right now it's just humans.
But are they cool humans?
For the most part, they're mostly Space Marines.
I'm sold. Okay, yeah.
And there
I
is
like
some
Space Marines.
there's some Imperial Guard.
Okay,
So
there are.
yeah.
Okay.
So if you really want to do 40k, then best thing for you to do is go
Nice.
go into a Warhammer store.
Oh,
Talk to the
that's
guy there.
awesome.
Let 'em know.
Oh,
Man,
Warhammer
this won't
stores.
set us down a terrible path at all. Hey, come on, Groot.
No. You didn't let me finish.
Why do
Say-
I hear my bank account
Go-
I
screaming
don't know.
at me?
Oh my god, I'm on my 10th credit card already.
Yeah, you should probably
Corn,
listen to
what
the
do you
rest of what I'm
do?
trying to tell
Oh
you.
no!
Because I was going to tell you, go to the Warhammer store, have them, show you around, maybe play a game, whatever.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
After that, you go find another game store.
Okay.
As in, that sells 40k
Yep,
and stuff, and buy the stuff from them because as a small business, they care more about you as a customer than they do about your wallet.
I do like supporting small business.
Do they have? I do. I agree. I'm very plugged into the community. Yes.
Yeah. And they care more about you and you coming back and having a good time rather than how much they can get you out of the door for.
Understood. Will that help with the price tag any? Because I see Games Workshop, they have like this really expensive price tag, and I only have 2 testicles. So will this be any
You
cheaper?
are in
What do I do if I don't have a firstborn child?
Well,
What if I already lost?
if you don't have a firstborn child,
What
you're
if I-
actually in better shape than you would if you had a kid. Because you'll have more money to spend on the crack that you're about to consume.
crack, I'm already on heroin.
I was talking about what if I didn't have a firstborn child to sacrifice to the GW gods for the blood pack that it's going to cause to get this box.
And that's why you go to your local game store because usually they'll give you a discount from ranging between 20 and 30% depending on whatever the store.
But
is.
corn,
I
that's
do like
still
discounts.
too expensive. I got money right now, but routinely I don't have that much. Like $160 a drop, right?
Okay, well, how much do you have?
Right now I got maybe like let's say 200, like 250 right now. But then I only got like small increments of maybe like 50 or 60 in my little budget right now.
Okay,
in the coming
perfect.
months.
So if you've
what else can I do to get models? Yeah.
Well, if you've got $250, you can possibly get yourself a 3D printer.
Oh, 3D printing. This sounds fancy.
Yeah, it is kind of fancy.
I'm
but
kind of retarded.
you
Is there any way to like is it easy to use or?
The printer itself is easy to use. The software takes a bit of a learning curve, but that's why we have YouTube. YouTube will teach you what you need to learn.
I'm on YouTube. I know to look at videos.
Yeah, they're fucking
Man, this is perfect.
You're
This
good.
is so easy.
This is easy.
Yeah.
Man.
Or you could go to your local game store, and currently right now it's 10th edition. They have a 2-player box set. It comes with everything you need, models, fucking
Whoa.
all the shit.
We're
If you
two
guys-
people.
We are two people.
Yeah.
You guys can split it. You guys can pick one side, pick the other, put the models together,
Wait,
and play against each other.
I have $250 and you have $250, but if we buy this box that's the 2-player box
Yeah.
that's like $100, we can still have money left over to buy more models.
That's such a good idea.
Let's
or we can
do-
buy that and we can put together for a 3D printer so we can print off future models.
Oh, we could do that, and then we could print
that.
off whatever we wanted.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then all we have to do is like pay for like the less expensive stuff.
Yeah,
That's
like
awesome.
You can use it to buy paints and brushes and
Okay.
all this stuff. And
So-
get them all painted up.
Last question I got. So I've already ripped out one of my testicles to sell. Can I get that reattached or is that?
It might cost you more to get it reattached than to just sell it. So if you sell that, you can use that money to buy more models.
Whoa. This is self-sustaining.
I like
Yeah.
funding. And wow, I can find all kinds of ways to
Yeah.
fund this habit.
You can.
Next, I'm gonna go cut catalytic converters from under cars.
Whoa.
I don't know how much those will get you, but
I heard platinum's
get
going for good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, I probably have a lot more money if I quit my heroin addiction.
this is true.
Well, you passed. Congratulations. You passed. That was a great. Yeah. So
You
exactly.
sold
that.
me on it.
Well, a lot
sold.
of this comes from experience because I went through that.
You-
hard
you were on
path where I
heroin?
essentially, yeah. Because all I did was walk into a store and I'm like, man, this is awesome. I walked into my first Games Workshop store in freaking Colorado, and I was like, man, this is awesome. This is back when you could still play games in there. Like you had people, they had tables set up, people were playing games, this and that. And you look around, you're like, holy crap, where the hell did I just walk into? And yeah, I mean, freaking, it's a whole other freaking world. It's a whole other experience. And yeah, dude, it's a great fucking hobby to get into. If you are, even if you're not into playing the game, let's say you just like to paint the models, fucking paint the models. Hell, you could buy the models, paint them, and then turn around and sell them for twice as much as what you bought them for if you really want to do it that way.
That's true.
And then fuel your own habit doing it. So,
Like we said, it's self-sustaining.
it really is.
It 100% is, especially with the 3D printer.
Oh,
The
yeah,
3D printer
easily.
makes
Yes.
things so much easier.
It really
It's-
does.
You can.
It's high on the up. Like I said, it's high on the front end. You do spend a little bit more on the front side as far as between a box and a 3D printer. Now, occasionally you can get them on sale to where it's about the same price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a basic bitch 3D printer that you can use. But
Don't buy a filament printer though.
Yeah, do not buy a film.
Get a fucking resin
That's
printer.
We're talking about resin.
Yeah.
do not print your minis in filament.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
Fuck filament printer
I
minis.
don't
Yeah.
care who's telling you what and who's whispering what into your ear. That's never a bad idea. I don't care how good you are at that. It's not going to fucking work out. Don't fucking do it. I've seen it happen. I've seen it
Yes.
happen. Now, don't get me wrong. It's better than rocks. Okay.
It is
right.
better than rocks.
Rocks.
At least you get basic,
but
units down.
at least rocks are not going to just instantly break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they can double as a weapon.
For what you spend on the filament printer, you could either get a resin printer for the same price or just save up a little bit more.
Get you the resin printer
Yes.
because there's so much more detail. I mean,
Yes.
my orc boys and all my different models. There are some that I can't even tell a difference between the GW model
yeah.
and the 3D print. And I mean, there's so many creators out there that have went above and beyond making, and some of them, like I said, look even better.
Oh yeah.
Oh, by
There are
far.
some models that I have that I look at the old GW model that they have, and I'm like, oh, that kind of looks gay.
Lucius. Yeah.
The Lucius model, Lucius the Eternal looks retarded, and now we've got I looked at the 3D printer model for Lucius, and oh my god, it looks so nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's another great thing too is you got the 3D printer. Cool. Damn, I just dropped like $400 on a 3D printer and a washer and a curer for it and stuff and some resin. Where do I get the files? The fucking internet gives them to you for free. Now, granted, you might want to verify some of those files first before you get them, because I downloaded what I thought was Custodes, ended up being Sexy Custodes, and they look...
Sexy Custodes.
They,
You telling me, bro, if I had a Custodes army, I would 100% run Emperor's TTS Sexy
Oh,
Custodes.
100%, man.
If you don't run
Not
Sexy
even close.
Custodes, you're not running Custodes.
Time to oil up the Emperor, baby.
just the most homoerotic positions.
Emperor, I'm here for your sponge bath.
Yeah, just the worst thing is. But the internet, you can get them for free, so you don't even have to spend any more money unless you really want to. And you go on like
If it says
whatever
Tao
websites.
Waifu, don't click on it.
Don't do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Tell
But-
women do not look like that. That's
Yes.
that's a lie. That's propaganda.
Oh, fucking life hack 2 or hobby hack if you want to know it. Let's say you bought a box of 10 Space Marines, right? Or 5 Space Marines, whatever the fuck it comes in, right? And you have 2 options of building them a certain way. You're like, I'm gonna go with option 1. Well, all the bits for option 2 are still on the sprue. Guess what you can do with a 3D printer? Print off the fucking pieces you're missing, and now you can have option 1 and 2.
Boom.
Just figured that out with my goddamn Exalted 8 bound.
Perfect.
Nice.
So
And the cost afterwards is ridiculously low. I think me and Stepbro just printed off 3,000 points of guard, and I think like something that altogether would probably cost me
3,000 points of guard would cost you.
a lot.
$6,000.
Yeah, a lot of. So
Yeah.
I looked it up, and Rogel Dorns alone are like $50 a pop.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm surprised it's only $50.
Yeah, I think
it's probably more.
I think Rogel Dorns are about $50 a pop. Like their main big fuck off battle tank. Well, kind of fuck off battle tank.
Yeah.
Definitely a major player.
Yeah,
Sure.
definitely a major player in any guard army. And for the price of 3 Rogel Dorns, I'm getting a 3,000 point army that includes a Baneblade with more than likely all the variants on it that I can switch between Bane hammers and Shadow hammers.
And if you don't know what
And a
3,000 points of Imperial Guard look like,
Scary.
We saw how much 3,000, like less than 3,000 points of Night Lords was, and that was Night Lords.
Yeah.
yeah, 3,000 points. So Imperial Guard are pretty much a horde army for the most part, unless you're running tank heavy. But 3,000 points of guard would, I'm going to go ahead and say fill up basically a kitchen table.
Oh,
like
easily.
Oh, easily.
A normal
Easily.
fucking 6x5 or 8x5.
Easily. It's
whatever.
going to be great whenever
Yes.
me and
Yes.
Stepbro plan on doing
Yeah.
a full 6,000 point tag team, and it's going to be fantastic.
$150 is what, like fucking 6 bottles of resin or some shit?
Depends on which type you get, but I mean, technically, you said 150. I mean, after tax, we're probably looking about like 6.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, about
So
six
for
or
the
seven.
price of 6 bottles of resin, you can print out a massive guard army.
Yeah, and
that
that's-
you probably will never use more than a 2,000 unless you're playing a huge game.
And that's Imperial, and that's just Imperial
Yeah.
Guard. Now, you look into the other things that have smaller armies, and I mean, you're spending
yeah.
significantly less than that.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
a box of the Alaris Custodians for the guard or for the Custodes is, if I'm not mistaken, about $54.99, give or take, and it comes with 5 dudes. So, for the price of $50, you can buy yourself 2 to 3 bottles of resin,
Yeah, the breakdown right there.
and
Oh, it's $100 for one.
Oh,
you
yeah,
had a
that's
breakdown?
a lot worse.
Yeah, that's a lot
Yeah, that's
worse.
a lot worse. We have that app. Yeah, to show you an idea of Games Workshop's price. So we just said printing you out basically 3,000 points. Okay. I gotta be honest, I forget the amount we just said, but that was a relatively low amount compared to Games Workshop prices. And one tank is $100. Now, granted, that's flat market at Games Workshop. You go to a local game store, you're probably looking like 80.
yeah, 70, 80 bucks.
70,
yeah.
80 bucks.
Yeah.
But it is significantly cheaper. If you can go for resin, it does take some time, some expertise, everything to learn, but it's well worth it. And if nothing else, I mean, even if you want to say, no, I want to spend money at Games Workshop, I know, I've been there, then you going ahead, you can have this 3D printer for different bits, everything else. If you want to customize your faction, find some cool bits, pop them on your models, easy come, easy go, there you go.
Yeah, because I think that's one of the things that like a lot of new people don't realize whenever they look at it. They see Space Marines and they automatically everybody goes to Ultramarines.
Ultramarines.
Those are the only Space Marines that exist.
That's the poster boy.
Yeah.
Oh God!
Fuck you, GW, for that.
And whenever I looked and I found out that no, there's actually 18 still alive legions.
There's technically nine loyalists, 9 traitor, and again we'll get into the lore a little bit later. So if you're confused, look up different stuff.
And 2 redacted.
But I'll add the bleep in for that. But
We'll definitely get into that.
yeah, we will. But there's also like including the chapters, which are basically like the little baby forces of these original legions. I want to say the actual named with color schemes, everything out that we know of is around like 400. Like we know.
Oh yeah,
of.
that's the actual chapters.
Oh,
and
like
all
chapters.
the breakdowns.
Yeah.
So 18 legions, 400 chapters
Yes.
amongst those 18 legions.
That are known. Yes.
And all with different color schemes and different stories. And guess what? You can play them
Yes.
all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of them are successor chapters to already like the main legions that you see.
You're gonna play them as one of the 18 legions, but you don't have to just paint them as normal run of the mill Space Marines. You can, I mean, in all actuality, fuck it, you can paint them however you want, and that's the beauty of this. That's really the beauty is just the customization, the creativity in the community.
Oh, here's a brief. I know we're running a little bit over on time, but here's a brief thing I want to
fuck
address.
timers.
Yeah, fuck timers. But here's a brief thing I want to address because this was like a mental block that personally I did. Maybe I'm just stupid, okay? But this is that I could not get over for a while. Is that I went around and when I first started, I said, "Cool. Do I have to paint these this way?" And it was the same thing. I got Space Marines. I'm like, "Do I have to paint these this way?" And they're like, "Oh no, you don't have to." I'm like, "Well, can I paint them red, like this?" And they're like, or sorry, can I paint these black, like these guys? And I was referencing the Space Marines of Black Legion, and I was thinking originally like a black armor scheme.
Yeah.
And then the dude just gave me a look. The Games Workshop manager was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "But that's the bad guys are those colors. Won't people think that they're them?" And like poor innocent me was asking this question. I was so tripped up and being like, "But I can't do this because red's associated with corn, and then purple pink's associated with like Slaanesh. And if I do this color, isn't that like declaring them for that god? And I can't do anything else." And it was just. Yeah, you paint them whatever the fuck you want.
Bro, they're plastic.
I was way overthinking it.
And this is and again to kind of delve into the lore a bit. So there were originally 20 legions. 2 of them are undetermined.
Leman Russ did nothing wrong.
Okay, I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, so
Magnus though, he did
That's a whole nother story.
so you have options. So you can run your army, your fucking models, paint them whatever the fuck color you want. Okay, it doesn't matter. But if somebody asks you, you'd be like, "Oh, this is a successor chapter to the Imperial Fists." You know, these are guys that broke off from the main legion and still serve the legion. They're still loyalists and everything like that, but they're kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah, or role play your own army. Make up your own army.
Or
do
make your army one of the 2 missing legions. So
there is a conspiracy that's actually one of the reasons that they took out the 2 legions was so that Stepbro actually taught me this.
Yeah, I do remember that. So you could have one loyalist and one traitor, just custom legion.
Yeah, just a custom legion that's loyalist and traitor.
And we'll get more into like we can continue this topic. That's perfectly fine. I'm not shutting it down, but we'll get into on different episode like the line you have to walk between meta knowledge versus like in lore type stuff because it's very clearly you're looking in lore and this happened because of this in the real world, stuff like that.
Right.
And then, but also on the other hand, if you just look at the lore just by itself, super hype. But if you look at real life, you're like, "Oh, this happened. X happened because of Y."
Yeah.
That's very obvious. 2 missing legions because 2 people could have their own color schemes. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
But it was that type of fun stuff. But it's a fun little game sometimes.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's a great hobby, and if you're with a great group, you're gonna have a great fucking time.
100%. And I think so far we have a fantastic group that I absolutely love getting together on weekends and getting the families together and playing 40K and
Yep. So I guess the motto for getting into Warhammer is just just go stupid with it.
Just
fucking
go
do
for
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know that. Do the exact opposite of what Robert Downey Jr. said. Go full retard.
Yeah, go full retard.
Yeah.
There's no wrong way.
Yeah, if you've been eyeing it for a while and you don't know, just fucking do it. Just fucking do it. You
Jump
know what?
in. It's so
Yeah.
nice.
Pick up one of the combat patrol boxes that you like, because that's the biggest thing. People are like, oh, I don't know what's good and this and that. Fuck what's good. Okay, look at all the boxes. Oh, you like these guys? Fucking get those guys. Put them together. Paint them. Whatever. Go into your fucking local store and go into the local store and ask the guy who works there, like, hey, what days do you do Warhammer? Right? And he'll tell you. They always have at least one day set aside for fucking Warhammer and shit. You go there on that day and see if anybody wants to play a game. Just be like, hey, I'm new. Now this is why we're such fucking advocates for gatekeeping, because you will find that one try-hard fucking cockknocker that loves preying on brand new people, because he will play the most optimized meta fucking competitive list possible, and he will try to fucking smash your face just to get an easy win and feel good about himself. Okay? If you run into that person, don't be discouraged.
Kick him in the balls.
Not everyone is like that, okay?
Fight
Just
on my
remember
fight.
who that was.
Fight on sight. Do it.
Just remember who that was, and just never play against that person again. Never associate. Find someone else. There's always going to be one fucking person in there who you're going to be like, man, this guy's awesome, and they'll take care of you.
And a lot of people forget, like, the whole point of playing these games and stuff is to have fun. And a lot of people, they get in us. I've noticed, like, especially with like competitive players get into it, and all they see is the win. And that's all they think of. And so, and to me, it's almost like the fun aspect, kind of, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a competitive player. There's a lot of people that, that is their fun, is being competitive. But I think there's a time and a place for competitive versus casual.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good way to basically, to summarize that, the best way is the objective of the game is to win, right? But the point is to have fun.
Yes.
And if at the end of the day, if you walk away and you're not having fun at that game with that person, then it's not worth it. Simple as.
Yeah. Push that person the fuck away. See, those are the type of people that we try to keep from the game. People who are just dickhead tryhards like that. And this is why
I kind of feel like we have to explain so we don't get crucified.
Yeah. Like, we are
comments
advocates
over. Oh God, these guys said they advocate gatekeeping.
Yeah, we do. We advocate gatekeeping. We want people in the hobby who are going to have fun and know the line between being competitive and having a good fucking time. Like, that should be something that you establish with your opponent beforehand. Like, hey, are we going to do this like a competitive game, or are we just playing around? And that's it. Because you're going to have those people who are going to discourage new people from fucking playing the game, because they're going to just raffle stomp them. Fucking, you're not going to have a good time, and they're going to be over there gloating and being shit. Like, those are the people, the gloaters, the fucking tryhards, the bitchy, whiny fucking babies that we don't want in this fucking hobby. Because
100%.
they just ruin it for everyone else. So if you find that person, just...
And you can find them, they're usually the ones advocating for no gatekeeping. You know why? Because they're the ones who would be gatekept. That's exactly why. And if you have any questions, or you're just like, well, but Mr. Step, bro, Mr. Groot, Mr. Corn Berserker, but I don't like gatekeeping. I think everybody should be able to enjoy it. And it's like, yeah, that's entirely true. But also, imagine the most obnoxious, whiny cunt that you can imagine sitting across trying to play a game with you and doing this shit. And then imagine, does that make the game and community enjoyable for you and everybody else?
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, unless you're lying, the answer is going to be no.
Yeah, you will be all, for not gatekeeping. You'll be anti-gatekeeping. Yeah. You'll be anti-gatekeeping until you play that one person, and then you will realize that that person should not be in this fucking hobby, and people like him should be banished from ever playing anything like this. And that's where you're going to get that fucking that red pill fucking moment where it's like, you know what? Gatekeeping isn't a bad thing.
No, it's not anything in my, there's always going to be bad apples that ruin the whole bunch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those are the ones we need to get the fuck rid of.
Yep. Don't let it poison the well.
100%.
But I guess that's it for tonight, isn't it, fellas?
Yeah, that's it for our episode, I guess.
Yeah, 100%.
I think we covered a lot of good things.
Yeah,
on
I
this.
think that, I definitely think that, if someone listens to this.
I'll throw up some, like, paper or something else like on the screen they can watch, and they'll be like, oh yeah, that. Oh,
Well,
yeah,
yeah, this is something great to listen to while you're fucking, hobbying, while you're painting or, putting together models or something. Just
Or
put our
just,
asses
or
on-
just
yeah.
chilling at work and, going through the daily grind.
And this is the first episode, so trust me, it's going to get a lot more funnier and a lot more spicier as we go along. But
Although we recommend you always go and listen and view all the episodes, if
Yeah.
you wanted to skip one and you just like, hey, I'm confident in my ability to get in, and I don't give a shit about you guys. Well, first of all, fuck you. Second of all, hey, you know what? Fair enough.
You're the one that clicked this podcast to begin with.
Yeah, you choose when we speak, not the other way around. You shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that being said,
So-
we hope you got to know us a little bit more about
Yeah.
what we're in. So we're ready to wrap up. I think okay. So
Okay.
in that case, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. As always, be sure to follow us on Spotify, YouTube, and also check the YouTube video description for a link to our Discord. That's a nice little place if you want to get plugged into the community in a virtual level. We're having some people there so we can talk lore, games, everything else, whether that's 40K, 30K, Age of Sigmar, fantasy, doing your mom. We do all the above, right?
Yeah.
We
Oh,
also,
on a weekly
uh,
basis.
We also should probably be getting social media set up here in the near future. So once that pops up, it'll probably be everything under the same name, or we'll put links up in.
Look for the links.
Yeah,
Yeah,
always
links
look for
will
the
take you
links.
there.
Yes.
And so, like you've said, if if a person feels like, they can, I can skip through this, I know how to get in. Next episode will probably be a decent episode for them to get into. If people decide, okay, I know where, I'm not socially awkward, I can go to a store and everything. Next episode, we are going to be going through kind of the next step. You've decided you want to go into Warhammer and everything, but you don't know where exactly to start. Next episode, we are going to be breaking down the new Christmas releases. Just kind of giving kind of our take on price to point comparisons. What army would be a really good starter versus kind of what would be an army to buy to one of the boxes to buy to make an addition to an army you already have if you happen to do have an army.
What deal is a banger and which one's a bust?
And if you're already in the hobby and stuff like that, it still is a great thing to listen to, because freaking you could either use that to bolster your army or just skip it.
And I will say, after I've looked at some of these prices, some
They're
are
tempting.
some are very good bangers and some are really big busts.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
But
So that's it,
it,
and
man.
we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next time.
yeah.
Sleep tight. Don't
Until
let them
then,
Christmas bite.
kill, maim, burn.
Yeah, baby.